What's up everybody, let's cruise on the different comments you guys left on the subreddit. Welcome to the channel and let's just dive into it. Someone posted this will be the new Game of Thrones, and they're relating to From, the TV series, From our beloved series, and they say, I want this to be a good show, but I think it's going to build up all these questions only to not be answered. And I think the idea of submersive is misguided because there are no rules established. There are no big reveals because if anything is possible, everything is possible. I don't know the monsters, then the spiders and Martin and the phone calls. A season should end by answering the current questions while giving new ones. I've finished season 3 and I think continuing will be a waste of time. Help me please. Now it's something, let's drop a bomb on that. It's a very valid criticism on the show, to be honest, because as fans of this show, you expect to have some answers and some guided reveals that somehow we will be getting answers soon, or perhaps as some people have been repeating over and over, it's that it's all a mystery show and we have to follow the clues. But as I keep saying, as a freaking broken record, I keep saying over and over that the show provides clues, but it's quote unquote clues, and you cannot quote unquote piece the clues to get to the final answers, because as we freaking see in season 3, Jade was seeing that freaking symbol all over the place, and for whatever reason it was later on answered that it was the roots of the tree that formed when the kids were being sacrificed. They poured hope into the roots of a tree, and the tree grew, and it's how the symbol was formed. Now what even the hell is that kind of answer? It doesn't make sense, and no one can come up with such answers, and it's these writers pulling things out of thin air. It's not based on quote unquote clues. Let's drop a bomb on that. Let's move on to the next comment, as someone posted, why don't the residents in From use a more believable excuse to keep newcomers inside at night? Yeah, they keep saying that, I think the whole basis is that they keep explaining that, at night these monsters come, and as newcomers arrive in this town, it's something that you have to explain to them, and for whatever reason, the town people decide to not make up something to keep these newcomers inside at night, but instead they tell them straight to their face, and it's something that is very much unbelievable. And as someone who's from the real world, you haven't seen such supernatural happenings, you won't believe it at first sight. As someone says, let's read the full post, and they say, I know this question is kind of irrelevant now since the story has progressed so much, but during my rewatch I kept wondering about this. Every time new people arrive, the residents try to convince them that monsters come out at night and BS excuse, but from a newcomer's perspective that sounds completely insane, so it's no surprise many of them don't believe it. Why not start with something more believable instead? They could say there's a serial killer, escaped prisoners, violent criminals, a deadly cult who attacks vehicles, or that the town has a strict nighttime curfew. I mean, it's some excuse you can come up, but yeah, no, knowledge comes at a cost. We cannot come up with all these different excuses and they make sense, as someone says, because an excuse is going to sound suspicious. For all the newcomers know, the townies are a cannibal cult. How is we have serial killers patrolling the forest a more believable story? Yeah, some criticism on this comment, but I think it's pretty valid, because explaining to newcomers that there are these monsters that come out at night and pick people, it's just bizarre. It's crazy. Someone says, do we know what the rocks stacking meant found near Ankhui kids? Well, it's some things I don't think they have like a deeper meaning, specifically the stacking of rocks. And yeah, I guess we'll be having some explanations if the writers do have some. Someone says it should have been Ellis and Fatima and not Elgin. I know. Most of us hate him about getting manipulated. I feel bad about Elgin. Well, no one freaking cares about freaking Elgin, and it's how these writers are written, to be honest. And when they are finally killed off, you don't. Will anyone miss Elgin? To be honest, I won't. Let's move on to the next post. Someone says Kenny and Christy finally. I think they're referring to, spoiler alert, Marielle being dead right now, and it's finally their time for Kenny and Christy to finally get at it. Because since Marielle arrived, she kind of blocked the relationship that was kind of brewing between Kenny and Christy, and it was all over the place. Someone says the answers are in season 1, episode 4. And let's read the full comment. As they say, I'm rewatching season 1, episode 1. How does the old lady know Megan's name? The creatures live in the caves all day and only come out at night when the people are inside. I suspect they share a hive mind with the man in yellow, which could mean if they can figure out how to kill the man in yellow, then that will kill all the creatures. Maybe wiping out all the bad players is the key to being able to live. Usually the entire town of people die and there's a reset. Maybe the reset needs to be all the creatures and the man in yellow dying. Let me know in the comments what you guys think, but to be honest, would you guys think it will be a better ending for the man in yellow being like a quote-unquote king to this hive mind, for instance, if it's written as such, specifically if all these monsters are controlled by the man in yellow, and killing the man in yellow will destroy all of them. You guys think that will be kind of be like a satisfactory ending to the show? Personally, I don't think so, because I expect so much more from this show. Since season 1 it had so much promise, and I expect so much more as such. Do you even guys do you think that the man in yellow is the final bad guy, or do you guys think that there is a bigger entity that we have yet to see from this place? Someone comments, I think you're onto something. Everyone is fixated on going through a tree or a tower or a ritual. Makes sense that the answer could be breaking the cycle altogether. The old lady knows Megan's name because the monsters know all their names. A monster said that to Trudy before they killed hers when they infiltrated Colony House. Yeah, so they're kind of referring to how all the monsters kind of know the people's names. And yeah, I think it's kind of like a hive mind, because it kind of explains how all these monsters can coordinate their attacks somehow. Someone commented this, a hidden talisman that are still there, 5 hidden talismans. So they're referring to, spoiler alert, in season 4 ending, Sophia, is the man in yellow, Sophia collects all these different talismans and tosses them in the faraway tree, making the town open to attacks from the monsters. And they're saying that 5 talismans have survived, and it's Victor's jungle shelter. Only Boyd, Victor, Tabitha, and Ethan know about it. Colony House basement, a small cabin where Boyd kept Fatima. Secret room where Elgin kept Fatima. One Jade and Tabitha took them into the cave. Yeah, well, I kind of agree with this one. I don't know about the rest of these, but the last one, the one that Tabitha and Jade took into the cave, I don't remember them taking it back after leaving the cave, because it was swarmed by monsters. Perhaps in the next upcoming season, in the next episodes, they will have to go back into the caves to kind of retrieve the talismans. But do we even know that the talisman still works? Well, perhaps I think they do, because why would the man in yellow collect them and toss them into the faraway tree unless he's kind of destroying the power? So it's kind of half, I guess, because it's the writer's decision now to kind of continue the story, maybe perhaps making them still work, but they kind of can twist the story a bit and say that since the tree was pulled down and all the lightning and the whatnot that happened in the final episode, perhaps it's it undid the magic that was powering the talismans, and they are currently not working. They could kind of negate the powers of the talismans as such, and perhaps make the characters more vulnerable to the place and the monsters. Someone commented, I think Jade and Tabitha weren't able to retrieve the one they used in the Cave of Bones since the monsters were in the way. Yeah, that's something that I just said. Let's move on to another post. Someone says, Flight of the Chromonaucle and the Adventure of the Grand Kuligok. let's review what this person posted. And they posted this book right here. It's the ones that Ethan has been referencing, and it's supposedly the books that these stories and what's been happening in the place has been relating to. Now my whole thing was this theory is that why do these exact books have all the story that's happening in this place? Does Ethan influence the different events that happen in this place? Someone posted this. My theory: Tabitha was right. Season 1, episode 1. Let's review. Now it's something that the writers have have sent all these different people on a tangent, as they say that all the answers are available in season 1, episode 1. Now everyone is going back to the episode and reviewing the different scenes and kind of coming up with their own theories. Now let me know in the comments if you guys think that season 1, episode 1 will play a big role in the final answers, or perhaps it will be like a tiny detail that was kept in there that the writers kind of extrapolated from it, and that they will kind of use it to provide answers in the upcoming season. And they posted this theory. I think it's about parallel universes, and they say, I had read a theory about the town building on top of itself with each cycle to explain why all the buildings are from different eras. That made me think about what if in the world universes are layered. Yeah, it's people kind of disagreeing with these theories. Yeah, I'm not shocked in the least, because it's this goose chase that the writers have sent people and the fans on, as they said, season 1, episode 1 has all answers. Now it's everyone coming up with all their weird theories. Someone says, why has no one ever tried to talk to the monsters about real topics? Let's view this. Instead of like, who are you, what are you doing this, why are you doing this, maybe some light trolling, seeing what they actually know or will say. Asking them about their favorite sports teams or about politics, because they probably won't talk, they just smile. Yeah, from what we know, these monsters are good at trolling these people, and they don't really have brains to think for themselves and kind of provide answers. They just freestyle with whatever that kind of terrifies these people. Someone says, I want to add some thoughts to the Norman story. Yeah, I'm not reading that. Someone says, I don't know who came up with the theory about Jade and Tabitha being the ones to sacrifice the kids, but it's my favorite theory and makes sense. Let's read this. The Ankui kids pointing at them, saying the phrase makes sense with this theory. Jade and Tabitha being the only ones being reincarnated, basically meaning they live forever, basically like the deal said. Fatima turning into a monster, showing not all the monsters are actually the parents that sacrificed their kids, but members of different cycle that eventually turn. Should know we don't know if any of the monsters are the parents or just members of other cycles. The man in yellow calling Tabitha a friend, basically. I know it's just a theory, but it makes so much sense, and now I want to watch the show again from start to finish. Well, it's this person speculating that it's it was Jade and Tabitha that made the sacrifice to whatever creature that's in this place for immortality. What do you guys think about that theory? Let's view other posts. Someone say, what if Jade and Tabitha are the bad ones? The answer is in episode 1. It's crazy, but I think they're referring to season 1, episode 1. I mean season 4, episode 1. To be honest, I feel like this quote in episode 1 answers some questions and maybe more than I can think of. For example, why can't the monsters run to catch their prey? Why can't the monsters enter houses or even places sealed with a cloth or something lighter just because of a talisman? Why can't the boy in white help the talisman with answers, since he obviously knows everything? Someone commented, I think Ethan will be the last man standing like Victor. I'm not a fan of this theory, but the fact that the creatures get to have a getaway for a future spin-off show or a part 2 makes me believe that they will be inclined towards the ending. I would be so pissed if they have like a spin-off series. Like, why do we even need a spin-off series? We just need answers and we just move along with our lives. Someone says, for all we know, this is a dream by Ethan. What if Julie's been story walking the whole time and she can't do anything about it if she doesn't get to her present reality? This is literally not true. When Julie walked on the man in yellow, he told her she couldn't change the story. That's utter nonsense, as backhanding her changed the story in that very moment. Yeah, it's, I don't want to get much into the story walking aspect of the show because we have yet to learn the rules specifically, and the writers, I think the writers are kind of skittish about addressing that kind of thing, and it's why they are leaving it for the final season. Someone commented, I'm sad one of my friends is gone. What happened to the bus driver? She lived in Colony House, and I was starting to think she could be a good second command with Donna at the house. I wonder why they didn't bring her back. Yeah, I think they were kind of, before watching. Yeah, maybe it is after episode 5. Mary just said we're currently. Yeah, they haven't watched season 4 yet, but yeah, Bacta was there. Someone says, has this been brought up before about Julie? Let's read. It seems like Julie can travel through time by going through the ruins, but I think when she does this, she can't change the actual story. Also in the present, she is having a tremendous amount of dixies with no lasting effects. When the piece of paper trick didn't work, why didn't she check in the road where she dropped it? Oh my god. It's all the rules about story walking and leaving the fans to hang because we know nothing about story walking. They kind of teased a bit on it in season 4, and yeah, it's pretty much what we got, and I really hope they dive much into season 5. In season 5 they dive much into the story working aspect of the show because it's so much interesting. Someone commented, Randall is a morally grey person with divided opinions. Who is a horrible person with divided opinions? Yeah, this is a whole other thing. Like, morally grey, loved by fans. I wouldn't say Sarah is morally grey. I think she was kind of led astray by the place, and I'll place her in a good person placed right here. Good person, loved by the fans. Yeah. Let's see. Horrible person, loved by fans. I don't want to say Acosta, but yeah, I freaking hate her. Someone says From is Lost 2.0 extreme and darker version. Let's read that. And they say, I think I got the general or core concept of From. Yeah, they're kind of relating to the mysterious numbers that have been appearing throughout From Lost and From. The number 47 in From, and these numbers, 4, 8, 15, 16, 23, 42, or as they appear in Lost. I don't remember there being like 108. I remember it being like 4, 8, 15, 16, 32, 23, 42. Was there like a 108? I don't remember this number specifically, but anyway, they're referring to the kind of drawing comparisons to all the different aspects to these shows, specifically the Dharma stations in Lost, and as a mysterious equivalent of place or things in From. Yeah, they're referring to the Lighthouse and Dharma stations. Yeah, it's a whole. Oh my God, they wrote a whole essay. But let me know what you guys think, and do you guys see the comparisons between the two shows, From and Lost? And let me know if you guys enjoy these videos, and I'll see you in the next one. Do not forget to like, comment, and subscribe. This is your favorite YouTube channel in this platform, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye bye.